Welcome to the Marketing Nomad Show, the fun pit stop for all your marketing needs to grow your online business to consistent 5K months and beyond. I'm your host, Prit, and I usually talk about online marketing strategies, social media, and I also do share a little bit about my entrepreneurial journey as a business owner, online coach, and a membership owner. If you are an online coach looking for simple, implementable marketing strategies to grow your business, then you've come to the right place. Now let's hop on to today's episode. Welcome back to the Marketing Nomad Show, guys. For those of you who are new, I'm the Marketing Nomad, and you can also call me Prit. The Marketing Nomad Show, for those of you who are new, is kind of like a one-stop shop for all your marketing needs to grow your online coaching business. Okay, a little bit about me. I am the creator of the InstaSavvy Tribe, which is a monthly marketing membership to grow your online coaching business to 5K months and way beyond. All right, guys. Today we're gonna kind of go into free versus paid content. This is episode number 33. Now, when I first started as an online coach, this was definitely something that I had trouble with, deciding how much of my paid content should I be giving out for free? Or when do I stop giving out free content? Like, what's the limit to it? And I definitely researched a lot about this, and I did implement, some of the things that I did here online. And to tell you the truth, it wasn't the best way to approach things. Over time, I was able to understand what exactly needed to be free and what exactly needed to be paid in order to maximize my conversion. So today, I'm actually sitting down in a podcast episode, and just for you, I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience through, creating content, creating free content, how I went about it, what were the mistakes that I made, and we're also going to delve into my strategy for your free content. So by the end of this episode, there are a few things that you're gonna realize, okay? You're gonna understand why is free content so important for your online coaching business. You're also going to figure out what exactly is going to be the main objective of your free content. And finally, we are going to answer the question of the episode, and that is, why should free content be a part of your content strategy, and how to make sure that it is going to work in your favor. All right, guys? So this is more of a strategy-based episode, I would say, because I'm talking more on the strategy lines, and I'm also going to be helping you understand what makes your potential client tick, and basically what makes them want to convert, okay? So let's dive right into today's episode, guys. Now, let's talk a little bit about the general rule that a lot of content creators out there are posting on their pages. The main rule that people go along is that you need to talk about the what and the why, but you don't talk about the how. And let me explain what this general rule is. So what usually content creators out there say is that you don't give the how of how to get to the end position, how to get to the transformation. How do they get to the end point? You don't tell them all that. But you do talk about what your program is about, maybe some of the definitions that can help them, understand your program better, or understand that, they have a problem and they need you to help them solve it. Okay? So the what and the why. So you answer all the what and the why questions, but you don't answer the how. The how is provided by your coaching program. Now, I definitely tried this method, okay, given that it was it's probably the most common method that is around, and I tried it, okay? I did the what and the why, and then when someone would ask me for the how, I would say, oh, no, that's, my program, and that's my coaching business, and then you can get that. While that did work a little bit, here's what I realized over time. Over time, I realized that there's a lot of hows that I can't answer without them deterring from my program, without them coming on as a paid client. What I also realized is sometimes it is important to talk about the how so that your client, your potential client, understands how much they need your coaching program. Okay? So all of this is kind of summarizing my journey through creating free content for I think it's almost going to be 2 years of me creating free content. Yeah, probably should celebrate that anniversary, guys, because it is a lot of work and every milestone does count, especially when it comes to free content. All right, so I followed the rule and it really wasn't working because as much as I tried to stick to the what and the why, it just wasn't enough. All right, and that's when I realized I started experimenting with different methods that I came up with and tried to see which was that sweet spot that I could give free content for without compromising on people coming in for my paid content. Now, I want you guys to know one thing, and it's the rule of business, guys, and you will hear a lot of successful business people also saying this as well, and that is, if someone really wants to pay for your services, they will. All right, and if someone doesn't, then they're never going to convert regardless of what you put out there. All right, so our aim for our free content is basically to find the people who are going to be willing to pay for our content, but just giving them a little bit of a nudge, a little bit of an understanding that, hey, you've got a problem and I've got a solution just for you. Okay, so that's basically what your free content strategy is going to be all about, and that's why it's so important, because there are going to be a bunch of people out there who have absolutely no idea that they even do have a problem that needs to be solved. They might not recognize it as a problem. They might just think, oh well, this is life, this is how I should go, and this is just how it's gonna be. But then you come along with your free content and you say, hey, no, you don't actually have to struggle with that, you know? You can actually fix that problem of yours. And then they look at you and they go, oh hey, that's interesting. I didn't know that that problem could be solved. And that's when you go in, you swoop in, and bam, they pay for your program. All right? It's probably not as dramatic as that, but guys, you get the point, right? So that's why free content is so important, and it's probably one of the most important strategies for your online coaching business. This free content needs to be part of your content strategy to attract the people who will be willing to pay for your services, your coaching program, or even your digital course. All right? So that's why free content is so important. Now let's talk about why, it should be, kind of following a different rule rather than this whole general rule of what and why and, not the how. And like I've said before, when you are putting the what and the whys out there, especially guys, when you are in your nascent stages, when you have not reached, a huge number of followers on your Instagram, or you don't have a ton of listeners on your podcast, or you even don't have a ton of testimonials. It's especially during this stage that I personally feel that the what, why / how rule doesn't give you the maximum results that you should be getting at that stage, okay? And another reason is that especially when you are at that stage, okay, it's very difficult to convince people to buy your product. It's more difficult than if you were to say like 10,000 or 20,000 followers on Instagram, or you have like maybe 1,000 listeners on your podcast. It's way more easier to convince people to buy your program, your paid services, when you are at a slightly higher number of followers. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is, okay? There's nothing I can do about it. It's just human psychology, I would say, the herd mentality part of it, that they see, okay, well, this person's got so many followers, that definitely means that, she's the expert in that field and I really need to pay for her services. For a huge chunk of your audience at that stage, it's going to be so much more easier because your numbers speak for you. But until you get there, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that it's slightly more difficult and it requires a little bit of a twist in your strategy so that you can accomplish the maximum number of conversions that you can possibly get at the number of followers that you have, at the number of podcast listeners or website visitors or so on and so forth. You get my point, guys. Okay? So that's why it's so important to focus on your free content. And as you grow bigger, okay, you hit maybe 10,000 or 50,000 followers on Instagram and all of those things, amazing stuff, it is also important to focus on your free content right there, even though you do have, a number of followers. They're just going to see the number of people following you, and then they're going to convert, because there's also going to be a smaller chunk of people who need that free content to even understand what it is that you are selling and whether or not they have a problem. Identify that problem and then look up to you for the solution. All right, so like I said, guys, when you are at a nascent stage, takes a little bit of a tweak, but don't worry, guys, this episode is going to help you exactly with that. And it's a tried and tested method. I've tried it for my business. It works. It really, really works. And I know, and I'm super, super confident that when you try it out for your business as well, it's going to be equally, or even if not more, successful. All right? So yes, that's basically the point I wanted to drive home, is that especially when you're at your nascent stage, it is a little difficult and it is a little different, okay? So that's why I don't agree to the whole what, why / how rule. Now, here's my rule, okay? And it's an interesting, topic for me to talk about free versus paid content. And I really need to talk about why this whole episode even came about. This wasn't part of my, list of podcast episodes, to be honest with you. So sort of like a bonus one that I slotted in. I was having one of my monthly Q&A calls. We have about 2 Q&A calls every single month for my tribe, where online coaches who are my tribe members, they send in their questions and then I answer them live, and then they do come on live and ask me questions, and we kind of go into a back and forth of helping them grow their coaching business. And that's when I got this topic, okay? Someone actually sent me this question as part of the live Q&A, and I was so fascinated. I was like, this is actually something that I struggled with as an online coach myself, and it's such a great topic, and I'm sure that there's so many people out there with the same problem, looking for a solution, and maybe trying the what, why / how method and just not working out with it because of the lower number of followers or listeners or viewers that they do have. Okay, so I really liked this topic, and I was like, okay, I need to get this out there. I need to get my thoughts out there. Of course, I did say the same thing in the tribe Q&A as well, but it was just brilliant. I loved this question, and my coaches, they really send me awesome questions, and it's quite nice as an online coach to get so many insightful, so many awesome questions, and following them through the journey, I guess. All right, got sidetracked a little there, but if you guys are looking for, marketing help to grow your online coaching business, well, the Insta-Savvy Tribe is always open for you. At just $39 a month, you get access to worksheets, templates, courses, everything, guys, to help you grow your coaching business. It doesn't just restrict to any one social media platform. It's basically everything and anything to do with marketing your coaching business. And of course, you can cancel anytime. There's a 30-day guarantee, a money-back guarantee as well if you're not happy or if you think that it is not what you're looking for. But you know what? I'm actually that confident that the Insta-Savvy Tribe might actually be for you. All right, guys, let's get into what I call my 70-30 rule. Okay? Now, what my 70-30 rule is that it's pretty simple, actually. It's just that 70% of the knowledge that you have, okay, needs to be paid content. And the rest 30% needs to be free content. And the reason why it's 70-30, and believe me, guys, I've tried 80-20, 90-10, and the reason why 70-30 is such a sweet spot is because at that particular point, okay, your audience can fully understand what it is that you are trying to bring to the table, what solution you're trying to bring to what problem they have, and it also keeps them mentally prepared to pay for your services. All right, so anything lesser than 30%, it doesn't exactly drive home the point that they do have a problem and that you do have a solution to their said problem. But if we go to beyond 30, like, why isn't this a 60-40 rule, Prit, you might ask me? And that's where my answer comes, is that anything beyond 30%, okay? Listen carefully, guys. If you're multitasking, I want you to stop what you're doing and come straight back to listening to this episode. Anything beyond 30%, you're gonna start feeling resentful that information out there is free for your audience. All right, and when you start to feel resentful, it starts to show in your content as well. So I do not recommend going beyond 30%. And then you're also going to look at me and you're going to say, well, Prit, how exactly am I going to know when 30% is? And here's my answer to that. The minute you start to feel resentful that whatever free content you're giving out is so valuable that you actually need to get it paid, and believe me guys, you will start to feel resentful at that point, you need to start pulling back. You need to understand that you've crossed your 30% and you need to start pulling back and get back to what you know. And another reason why the 70-30 rule works so well, especially for the online coaching business, is that there are online coaches at different stages of their journey. Okay, some online coaches would have just started their coaching business, and of course there are a ton of limiting beliefs that you need to tackle on as well, right? Some of them might not feel like they're expert. They might not think that whatever knowledge that they do have is actually what people are looking for. And at this point, especially when you're fighting off those limiting beliefs, and believe me guys, those limiting beliefs, they don't necessarily always go away. They're still there at the back of your mind. Even today, I have an MBA degree, I've worked as a marketer, I have my own business, I am using marketing techniques to grow my business, I am an online coach and a membership owner and a business owner, and yet guys, well, what do you know? The limiting belief still comes creeping up every now and then. So, especially when you're dealing with that mindset, it's so important to realize that at any stage, okay, 100% of your knowledge still makes you the expert of your field. And you can give 30% of that out for free while you still retain 70%. How much ever that may be, you might just be at stage 1 of your expertise, okay, out of 10 stages. Never know, you might be, okay? In that stage, there's still 30% that you can give as free content and 70% that you can give as paid content. All right, so it's not necessarily that you have to rack your brain and wonder, oh my god, what is the what is the why, what is the how, and how do I keep myself? It's so much stressful, guys. Believe me, it is so stressful, especially when you're starting out as an online coach. It can get so stressful to figure out what content should be free and what content should not be free. So my idea of this rule is the 70-30 rule. So just try sticking to, figure out what you know. Okay, try figuring out how much you would be willing to give it out for free without feeling resentful. It's all about your intuition, it's all about your gut, and believe me, if you are an entrepreneur, you definitely do have a ton of good, healthy intuition. Okay, so I definitely trust that, and you should start trusting your gut too. I mean, that's part of being an entrepreneur, right guys? So when I say 70-30 rule, and you're putting your content out there, you will start to see a shift in your audience. You will also start to see a shift in yourself because you're going to be so much more relaxed with the content you're giving out. You're not going to be stressed. And even if someone does come and ask you, well, how do I do that? You're going to tell them. You're absolutely going to tell them. And if you look at me like I'm crazy, I have to tell you that I personally do this as well. I get so many DMs, guys. I get so many DMs asking me, how do you do this? Or what's not working? Why is this not working? Or how do I improve my growth? And in the beginning stages, because I heard about this whole what, why, / how rule, I would be like, oh, well, this is my paid program. You should come to it. And that's when I teach you that. And that just ended up being such a negative atmosphere, okay? And I hated it. And if somebody had told me that, whoever, any online coach I was looking up to, I would actually feel a little bit hurt, right? And I hated doing that. It was just so negative, and I didn't want to create that kind of a space for my followers, okay? It was a very personal choice for me, and it was something that I felt very, very strongly about. I did not want to create a space where my followers could not ask me anything they wanted, okay? Yes, I can't probably tell them every single how, because the how with the worksheets, with the templates, with the course, everything goes in my Insta Savvy tribe. but I can give them a few general points. I can give them an idea of how they can go about it. And so many times, guys, I'm not kidding, they've come back to me, appreciated the free advice that I have given, even though it was a how, and it built such a strong relationship. They started commenting more on my posts. They started replying to my stories. They started sharing my posts because they were so firmly, adamant that they wanted to support me in my growth because I did that for them without hesitation. Okay, so especially when you are in your nascent stages and you have this one-on-one interaction with your audience, I would say don't let that go just for this whole what, why / how thing. Interact with your audience. Keep, let them be happy with whatever answer that you can give, okay? And if they do ask a lot more, yes, of course you will have a few people who want to push the boundaries and want to get as much free content as possible, but you will know where to draw the line, because remember, like I told you guys, your resentment will come into place and you will realize, nope, no, that's where I draw the line. So of course, you have to have healthy boundaries, but for the most part, sticking strongly to the what, why / how rule, it's not the best way to go, in my opinion, especially when you're in your nascent stages. As you grow bigger, it becomes harder to get that one-on-one connection with your audience, and you don't have that much of time to sit and explain the hows and all of those things. And that's when, yes, that's when you can stick to, saying, here's my program, and you can definitely reach out. I can definitely help you out with this. Of course, you can say that in the nicest way. And because you have such a strong following behind you, okay, it becomes that much more easier, and there's no negativity there, okay? So this is definitely my opinion. You can definitely take what resonates with you, but I strongly feel about my 70-30 rule. It has worked for me, and I think one of the reasons why I started this podcast, or why I started the Insta Savvy Tribe, was because I felt that a lot of the advice out there was catered to people with a huge following. There wasn't any, online coach out there or course creator out there who was telling me, well, you actually are in the very beginning stages of your growth. Okay, so when that happens, you need to tweak your strategy accordingly. You can't be following the general advice that people give. And that's why, honestly, I started this podcast episode, so you can feel free to take what resonates with you, but I strongly feel about the 70-30 rule. It has worked. I told my tribe members, a few of them have come back to me and told me that they feel much more lighter when they're creating free content, because there's no pressure out there, okay? You're just genuinely helping people up until you feel resentment, and then you call them and then you say, hey, well, you got 30% of free content, but if you want access to the rest 70%, or you want access to the step-by-step process of how to do it, or you want access to the worksheets, the templates, my guidance, my expertise, my knowledge, then yes, of course, you have to pay for the services. And by then, because your 30% is so valuable, it just convinces them to come in for your paid product so much easier. All right, guys? And if you are looking for content ideas for any social media platform, for that matter, I actually do have a 365 content ideas. It's like a guide, I guess, on Etsy. If you guys want it, I will put the link in the description box. It's got 365 content ideas. It's for $9.99, and you get content ideas for the year. And not just that, guys, it's actually strategy-based content, because it tells you when you should be selling, when you should be talking about yourself, and there's a healthy balance between selling and giving out your free content as well. All right, so this actually brings me to the end of today's episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Just to summarize, if you are in the nascent stages of your business, the 70-30 rule is something that you should try, implement. Let me know, either leave me a review in the comments if it worked for you, and like, share, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube. I would definitely love to be a part of your journey, to hear what you're up to, and to see you implementing my tips, right? Because that's why I'm here, guys, obviously. Okay, guys, that brings me to the end. I'm super happy if you guys have stuck on up until here. Thank you so much. I will catch you guys in my next episode. And I don't know if you guys have realized, but sort of changed my podcast episode schedule a little bit. It's gonna be one every 3 days. I was doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but somehow that was just a lot of free content for people, and people were getting a little bit overwhelmed. So I decided it's gonna be one episode every 3 days, regardless of whether it's Saturday or Sunday, and it works for me as well. It's a lot easier to plan it that way. I don't know why, but it just is. Alrighty guys, thank you so much. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying healthy. Do let me know if you implement this, and yes guys, definitely leave me a review because it helps me help more online coaches just like you. And that's basically it. You can catch me on Instagram. I'm the Marketing Nomad on Instagram. I'll be happy to say hi to you and talk to you as well. Alright guys, the bye is kind of stretching out a little bit. Like I told you guys, the bye is always a little bit awkward for me because I don't know when to stop. I don't know when to stop talking, but well, yeah, let's call it a day, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.